Hi everybody, so we've been doing a lot on solar thermal and we've been using mirrors, and you might think, well, what about glass lenses? I mean, all we're really doing is concentrating and redirecting light. Surely lenses are the best thing for this job. And the same thought was kicking around in 1788 when Thomas Rogers proposed the same idea for putting into lighthouses. Now the Rogers lenses were, well, big, expensive, difficult to manufacture and hard to move around, and of course everybody moaned about this, and it was the Georges Louis Leclerc, the Comte de Buffon. I love that name. He first proposed it, but it was reinvented independently by Augustin Jean Fresnel, and of course we know these lenses as Fresnel lenses. The Fresnel lens has the same optical distance but far less material. Have a look at this cross section of two lenses and you can see how much less material is being used to get the same optical effect as a standard lens using a Fresnel lens. So a Fresnel lens is really just a cross section, and that reduces the weight of everything, but it does make them a little difficult to make yourself. I mean, lenses are difficult to make yourself anyway, but Fresnel lenses, they're traditionally thought of as being something that must be machined, and of course you find them all over the place these days, and in solar thermal you find people experimenting with them with great big sheets of them, and of course great big sheets can be expensive unless you find them in places like the back of an LCD TV, for instance. But the standard idea has been that a Fresnel lens is impossible to manufacture. So I've got 7 meters of 5mm polypropylene clear tube here that I plan on coiling up and then filling with water and see if it operates as a Fresnel lens. And if it does, of course, that's kind of cool. So first things first, let's coil up this bad boy. It was really easy. All I actually did was take some of this 1cm sized double-sided tape, run it around the outside of the coil and then just coil it up, and it coiled up incredibly quickly and incredibly neatly. Now it does have a habit of bending out, it's kind of lifting up like a cone, so I suspect a good idea would be to put some rods on it like that just to help to keep it flat. So I might do that, but the next thing really to do is obviously fill it with water, and to fill it with water we're going to syringe some in at the ends until it comes out the other side. Filled it with, actually you can see it's a lens right there. Amazing. Anyway, I filled it with water and I bunged this bit of filler in here because I don't have a central lens. What we want to do is see if it'll actually focus the light to a center point. So I've made this so it's blank, and we're going to hold it up to a point light source, which is a torch over there, which is pointing on here. And if we hold that up and we move that towards it, you can actually see it focusing the light in the center. Okay, so you should be able to see the shadow. Now as I move that lens in, you should see that bright focal point forming in the center. Isn't that awesome? Okay, it's right there. There's a bright dot formed right there where really it ought to be a blank space. It should be a dark spot because I've got a big plug in there, remember. But we've got a focus of light right there in the center. So that is actually operating as a Fresnel lens. That's very cool. So here's my setup. It's pretty simple really. There's my Fresnel lens. I've got a couple of rulers so I can just lever it up and down without it breaking apart. We've got a bit of scrap paper that we're going to try and focus the sun on. Now it's a little bit cloudy in this afternoon because it's clouded over in the day, but we're still going to give it a go and see if we can burn that bit of paper with the power of concentrated sun, because who doesn't like burning things just to prove that the lens is concentrating solar power? Now, this wasn't my idea. This was suggested to me by AZ Pilotland, who said that he'd done this, and I thought it was such an awesome idea, I had to replicate it to see if it worked. Now, we've seen it focusing up roughly. Let's see if we can make it burn. she goes. See this little wisp of smoke? Okay, that is burning. I'm going to move the paper and we'll see if we can get another section burning. It's pretty obvious we're focusing the sun down. There it goes. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so that actually worked a treat. It was kind of impressive. And if we look at the cross-sectional area of a Fresnel lens again, then we compare it to our tube and we can see that the tube actually approximates the Fresnel lens, bending the light and bringing it all together in a focal point as it should. So it's thank you very much to AZ Pilotland for suggesting this. It was really quite a lot of fun. Not sure about the point exactly because Fresnel lenses aren't that expensive, but they are used everywhere in solar thermal concentration as well as solar PV. And you've got to be a bit more careful with solar PV because it's not only the light they concentrate in their heat, and PV panels drop off dramatically the hotter they get. So you do have to be a bit more careful if you're going to try and do solar concentration with the PV panel. But solar thermal, brilliant if you're using Fresnel lenses, especially in large sizes, and you will see lots and lots of examples using Fresnel lenses. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks again to AZ Pilotland, and please do remember to like and subscribe.